The Meridian Alliance's flagship emerged from hyperspace with all the grandeur its builders had intended, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight into a dazzling display that outshone Earth's orbital stations. Ambassador Lyra Telvin watched the blue planet grow larger in her viewing chamber, her luminescent skin pulsing with carefully measured confidence. This would be her easiest assignment yet, making first contact with a species that had barely reached their moon. Final approach vector calculated, her aide announced, trailing tendrils of light in the ship's atmosphere. Their primitive detection systems have identified us. They're responding exactly as predicted for their technological level. Lyra allowed herself a small smile. The preliminary scans had confirmed everything their long-range observations suggested. Chemical rockets, basic ion engines, rudimentary fusion power. The humans hadn't even developed basic gravity manipulation yet. Begin the standard protocol for Category 3 civilizations. Let's not overwhelm them. 300 kilometers below, in a quantum-shielded chamber beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the Alliance flagships approach on displays that shouldn't have existed according to humanity's official technological timeline. The room hummed with the subtle resonance of quantum processors processing data far beyond what the Alliance believed possible. They're scanning us with exactly the technology we expected, her colleague, Dr. Marcus Wong, reported. Their quantum detection systems are primitive. He almost laughed at the irony. Sarah nodded, her expression neutral. 20 years of preparation had led to this moment. When humanity first detected the Alliance's observation platforms at the edge of the solar system, they'd made a decision that would shape their species' future. They would hide their true capabilities. Status of the quantum mesh? She asked, though she already knew the answer. The planetary defense network was humanity's greatest achievement, and its best-kept secret. Operating at full capacity, completely undetectable to their scanning technology. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. Marcus brought up a holographic display showing Earth's carefully crafted technological facade. They're buying it completely. Their scans show exactly what we've prepared. A civilization just beginning to grasp fusion power, struggling with basic spaceflight. The Alliance delegation's landing was a masterpiece of theatrical precision. Their ship descended on pillars of light that Earth's scientists were expected to find awe-inspiring. The global broadcast showed exactly what humanity's leadership wanted. Crowds of amazed citizens, military personnel with appropriately primitive weapons, and scientists clutching notepads and basic tablets. Ambassador Telvin's first steps onto Earth's soil were broadcast to billions, her crystalline form catching the sunlight dramatically. People of Earth, her translated voice rang out. The Meridian Alliance welcomes you to the galactic community. In her underground command center, Sarah watched the ceremony with the rest of Earth's hidden strategic command. The room contained technology that would shatter the Alliance's understanding of human capabilities. Quantum computers that could process reality itself, weapons that could redirect the fundamental forces of the universe. They're transmitting their first technological assessment back to Alliance space, Marcus reported, monitoring quantum intercepts that the Alliance didn't believe possible. According to their calculations, we're at least 3 centuries behind our current level of development. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Perfect. How long until they offer to help us develop our technology? Based on their standard protocols, within the first diplomatic meeting, they're already preparing their guidance packages, carefully limited technological knowledge designed to make us dependent on Alliance support. The diplomatic reception that evening was a carefully choreographed dance of perceived technological inequality. Earth's representatives asked appropriately naive questions about space travel and energy generation, while Alliance diplomats answered with carefully measured condescension. Ambassador Telvin was particularly pleased with how Earth's chief scientist, Dr. James Martinez, actually one of Sarah's most brilliant quantum physicists, struggled to understand basic concepts of faster-than-light travel. "Your enthusiasm is admirable," she told him, her skin glowing with patronizing warmth. "With proper guidance, Your species might achieve basic quantum communication within a century. In the quantum chamber, Sarah watched the exchange with satisfaction. The Alliance's assessment was proceeding exactly as planned. Humanity had learned long ago that true power lay not in showing strength, but in controlling how others perceived your capabilities. The first day of contact was drawing to a close when the Alliance's security chief finally submitted his formal threat assessment. Sarah's quantum intercepts captured every word. Species shows remarkable adaptability, but limited technological development. Military capabilities restricted to chemical propulsion weapons and basic orbital defenses. Recommend classification as protected development species. Grade 3. No significant security concerns noted. As night fell over the Rocky Mountains facility, Sarah reviewed the day's success with her team. They see exactly what we want them to see, she concluded. A young species, eager to learn, technically limited but full of potential. They have no idea that we cracked quantum manipulation decades ago, or that we've developed technologies they haven't even theorized yet. Marcus smiled as he brought up the latest scans of the Alliance flagship. Their quantum shielding is impressive, by their standards. They really believe it's the pinnacle of defensive technology. Let them believe that, Sarah replied, watching the Alliance ship glitter in orbit. The best defense isn't a shield everyone can see. It's the weapon no one knows you have. As the Alliance delegation settled in for their first night on Earth, humanity's quantum mesh continued its silent vigil, undetected and unimaginable to their visitors. In her private quarters, Ambassador Telvin recorded her final observations of the day. These humans show remarkable potential. With proper guidance, they might achieve significant technological development within a few centuries. Deep underground, Sarah Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Phase 1 was complete. The Alliance sought exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a young, promising species ready to be guided into the galactic community. They had no idea they were dealing with a civilization that had quietly surpassed them in ways they couldn't imagine. The real test would come soon enough, when less friendly species inevitably decided that Earth looked like an easy target. When that day came, humanity's facade would serve its true purpose, not just hiding their strength, but ensuring that their enemies' overconfidence would be their undoing. 3 months after first contact, the first signs of trouble appeared at the edges of the solar system. Deep space quantum sensors, invisible to Alliance technology, detected the gravitational ripples of ships dropping out of hyperspace, ships that weren't broadcasting Alliance identification signals. In her underground command center, Sarah Chen studied the tactical display with Admiral James Torres, recently appointed as Earth's military liaison to the Alliance. The ship's energy signatures matched known profiles of the Helix Dominion, a species notorious for acquiring what they considered vulnerable worlds. Right on schedule, Torres muttered, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display. The Alliance broadcasts their assessment of a newly discovered species, and the predators come running. Sarah nodded, watching the quantum readings of 12 Dominion warships arranging themselves in a classic attack formation. They're being careful to stay just outside the range of what they think our sensors can detect. Maintaining position at the edge of Pluto's orbit, the Alliance embassy had noticed nothing yet. Ambassador Telvin was still conducting her daily educational sessions, explaining basic concepts of interstellar physics to eagerly nodding human scientists. Today's lesson covered principles of faster-than-light travel that humanity had mastered decades ago. Incoming transmission from the Dominion fleet, Marcus reported from his station. They're broadcasting on frequencies they think are beyond our detection capability. Sarah's quantum interfaces intercepted the transmission effortlessly. The Dominion commander's scaled face appeared in a private projection, speaking to his fleet. The Alliance reports are confirmed. Primitive chemical propulsion. No quantum shielding. Minimal orbital defenses. This will be an easy acquisition. Prepare boarding protocols for their orbital facilities. In orbit, Earth's visible defenses, a scattered collection of seemingly primitive satellites and defense platforms. continued their predictable patterns. Behind them, the quantum mesh hummed silently, undetectable and ready. The next day, right as Sarah had predicted, the Alliance Embassy received an urgent communication. Ambassador Telvin immediately requested an emergency meeting with Earth's Security Council. Her crystalline form pulsed with what appeared to be genuine concern as she addressed the assembled human leaders. "We have detected a significant threat approaching your system," she announced, her translator struggling to convey her gravity. "The Helix Dominion, a hostile species known for targeting developing worlds, has dispatched a war fleet. While the Alliance condemns their actions, our nearest response fleet is 3 weeks away." She paused dramatically. "However, we can offer immediate protection if Earth agrees to full technological integration with the Alliance." Sarah watched from her position among the council members as various human leaders played their roles perfectly. Some showed fear, others anger, while a few demanded to know more about this protection agreement. Telvin's aide displayed a hologram of the proposed defensive network, a system that, by humanity's calculations, would have more holes than a sieve. "This would require immediate deployment of Alliance technology throughout your system. Of course, this would place Earth under direct Alliance protection and supervision, but surely that's preferable to Dominion conquest." Admiral Torres, playing his role of concerned military commander, asked the expected questions about Earth's ability to defend itself. The ambassador's answers were diplomatically gentle but clear. Earth stood no chance against Dominion technology. Back in the Quantum Command Center, Sarah's team tracked the Dominion fleet's methodical advance into the solar system. They were taking their time, confident in their technological superiority. Their scans passed right through Earth's quantum defenses, seeing only what humanity wanted them to see. "They're launching their first probe," Marcus reported, "straight through the Jupiter corridor, exactly where we predicted." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Let's give them something interesting to find." A seemingly primitive defense satellite detected the probe and fired a conventional missile. Exactly the kind of response the Dominion expected from Earth's technology level. The probe easily evaded it, its sensors recording everything about Earth's apparent defensive capabilities. The Dominion commander's next transmission radiated confidence. "Defensive capabilities confirmed, matching Alliance assessment. Begin Phase 2 approach. Prepare boarding parties. Remember, we want their infrastructure intact." In orbit, the Alliance Embassy ship's sensors detected the Dominion advance. Ambassador Telvin immediately called another emergency meeting. "The situation has become critical," she announced. "You must accept our protection immediately. The Dominion fleet will reach Earth within 48 hours. Sarah watched the ambassador's growing frustration as Earth's leaders continued to debate and delay. The Alliance didn't understand why humans wouldn't immediately accept their offer of protection. They couldn't comprehend that humanity was playing a much longer game. That evening, as the Dominion fleet passed Mars orbit, Sarah met with her core team. "All quantum systems are operational," she reported. "The mesh is ready. Tomorrow, we show them exactly why appearances can be deceiving." Admiral Torres studied the tactical display showing the Dominion fleet's approach. They're arranging themselves in a standard conquering formation. No escorts for their capital ships. They're not expecting any real resistance. "Their overconfidence is what we've been counting on," Sarah replied. "They see exactly what the Alliance told them they'd find. A primitive species barely able to reach their own moon." She brought up the quantum tactical display, showing the true extent of Earth's defenses. Tomorrow, they learn the danger of believing everything they're told. As night fell over Earth, the Dominion fleet continued its advance, their commanders already planning how they would divide up humanity's resources. They never noticed the quantum ripples spreading through space around them, as humanity's hidden defenses prepared to reveal themselves. In her quarters, Ambassador Telvin recorded her daily report to the Alliance Council, noting with frustration humanity's reluctance to accept their protection. Despite the imminent threat, they continue to debate. Perhaps the Dominion's approach will finally convince them of their vulnerability. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Sarah Chen watched the final preparations with quiet satisfaction. In less than 24 hours, the galaxy would learn that humanity was anything but vulnerable. The true question wasn't whether Earth could defend itself. It was how the galaxy would react when they realized just how badly they'd underestimated human capabilities. Dawn broke over Earth as the Dominion fleet entered final attack position. Their massive warships, dark hulls absorbing sunlight, arranged themselves in a perfect siege formation. In the Alliance Embassy, Ambassador Telvin watched with growing distress as her sensors showed the Dominion's overwhelming force. 12 capital ships against Earth's seemingly primitive defenses. "This is your final opportunity," she announced to the emergency session of Earth's Security Council. "Accept Alliance protection now, or..." The chamber's lights flickered as the Dominion's first transmission cut across all frequencies. The commander's scaled face appeared on every screen, mandibles clicking with predatory confidence. "People of Earth," the translation began. "Your world is now under Dominion protection. Disable your primitive defenses and prepare for integration. Resistance will only damage infrastructure we would prefer to preserve." In the Quantum Command Center, Sarah Chen nodded to Admiral Torres. "Time to show them what humanity's been hiding." Torres opened a channel to the Dominion fleet, making sure the Alliance Embassy could also receive the transmission. "This is Admiral James Torres of Earth Defense Command. You are in violation of sovereign space. Withdraw immediately." The Dominion commander's laugh translated as a harsh clicking sound. "Brave words from a species that hasn't mastered basic quantum shielding. Your chemical weapons can it." "You misunderstand," Torres interrupted, his voice calm. "That wasn't a plea. It was a courtesy." He looked at Sarah. "Dr. Chen, you may proceed." Sarah's fingers danced across quantum interfaces as she activated humanity's true defense network. Across the solar system, space itself seemed to ripple as the quantum mesh revealed itself. The Dominion fleet's sensors suddenly screamed warnings as they detected energy signatures far beyond their understanding. "Impossible," the Dominion commander hissed. "Our scans showed." "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show," Sarah replied, taking over the transmission. "Allow us to demonstrate humanity's actual capabilities." In orbit, Earth's seemingly primitive satellites transformed. Quantum fields shifted, revealing their true nature as advanced weapon platforms. The Dominion fleet's sensors, designed to detect known forms of energy and technology, struggled to comprehend what they were seeing. "First lesson," Sarah announced. "Never assume technology follows a linear progression." She activated the first quantum lance, a beam of concentrated quantum energy, manipulating the fabric of space-time itself. Lanced out from an orbital platform, it passed straight through the lead Dominion ship's shields designed to stop energy weapons, not weapons that altered reality itself. The massive warship split in half, its quantum fields collapsing as reality itself twisted around it. In the Alliance Embassy, Ambassador Telvin's crystalline form pulsed with shock as her sensors tried to process what they were witnessing. Second lesson, Torres added as 2 more Dominion ships fell to weapons they couldn't even detect properly. Appearance and reality aren't always the same thing. The Dominion fleet attempted to return fire, their advanced energy weapons splashing harmlessly against quantum shields that didn't so much stop their attacks as redirect them into other dimensions. Their formations broke as captains realized their sophisticated targeting systems couldn't lock onto defense platforms that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "This is impossible," the Dominion commander broadcast. "You're a primitive species," the Alliance confirmed. "The Alliance," Sarah interrupted, "saw what we wanted them to see. Just as you did. Humanity mastered quantum manipulation decades ago. We simply chose not to advertise that fact." In the council chamber, Ambassador Telvin watched in stunned silence as her species' careful assessments of human technology crumbled. The quantum energy readings from Earth's defense network exceeded anything in the Alliance database. The Dominion fleet attempted to retreat, their hyperdrives spinning up. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she activated the quantum snare, a field that shifted space-time itself, trapping the remaining ships in normal space. "Your ships are now contained," she announced to the increasingly panicked Dominion commander. "You have two options: surrender and face judgment for attempting to invade a sovereign world, or continue fighting and learn exactly how advanced our quantum weapons really are." The surrender took less than 5 minutes. As Earth's primitive defense ships moved to secure the Dominion vessels, Ambassador Telvin finally found her voice. "How?" she asked the human leaders. "Our scans, our assessments, were based on assumptions," Sarah explained, entering the chamber. "You assumed that because you couldn't detect our quantum technology, it didn't exist. You assumed that because we didn't demonstrate our capabilities, we didn't have them." Torres joined her, adding, "Humanity learned long ago that true strength isn't about showing power. It's about choosing when to reveal it." The quantum mesh was fully visible now, a network of reality-altering technology that protected not just Earth but the entire solar system. Alliance sensors, finally calibrated correctly, began to detect the true extent of human advancement. Quantum computers that could process entire realities, weapons that could redirect the fundamental forces of the universe, defensive systems that made traditional shields look primitive. As news of the failed invasion spread across Alliance channels, Sarah met with her team. "Phase 3 complete," she announced. "Now comes the interesting part, dealing with a galaxy that just realized they've been underestimating us." Marcus brought up the latest quantum scans, showing dozens of Alliance ships already racing toward Earth, not to protect humanity, but to reassess their understanding of a species that had just demonstrated technology beyond their comprehension. "They'll have questions," Torres noted. "Let them ask," Sarah replied, watching the quantum display show the true extent of human advancement. "It's time for the galaxy to understand that humanity isn't just ready to join the galactic community. We've been ahead of it for years. We just chose to wait for the right moment to show it." In orbit, the defeated Dominion ships floated powerless, their crews watching in shock as humanity's quantum technology continued to rewrite their understanding of what was possible. The age of hiding was over. Now came the time for humanity to show the galaxy exactly what they'd been developing in secret all these years. The Alliance Council chamber had never been so crowded. Representatives from over 300 species packed the crystalline amphitheater, all eyes fixed on the human delegation. Ambassador Telvin stood at the central podium, her normally composed form flickering with barely contained agitation as she addressed her peers. "The preliminary assessments were incomplete," she admitted, causing a ripple of murmurs through the chamber. "Human technological capabilities significantly exceed our initial evaluations." Dr. Sarah Chen sat calmly in the delegation chair, noting how the other species tried to discreetly scan her with their various technological devices. Their confusion was palpable as their sensors encountered quantum interference fields they couldn't even begin to understand. Incomplete. The Nexus Confederation's representative, a being of pure energy contained within a mechanical shell, pulsed with skepticism. "They demonstrated weapons that ignore our most advanced shields. That's beyond incomplete, Ambassador. That's a fundamental misrating of an entire species." Admiral Torres, seated beside Sarah, maintained his diplomatic poker face as various Alliance members demanded explanations. The quantum communications array hidden within his ceremonial uniform picked up countless encrypted transmissions as species frantically reassessed their positions regarding Earth. "Perhaps," Sarah finally spoke, her voice carrying easily through the chamber, "we should discuss what this means for future relations." The chamber fell silent. In the week since the failed Dominion invasion, the galaxy had been scrambling to understand the implications of humanity's revealed capabilities. The quantum technology Earth had demonstrated wasn't just advanced. It operated on principles some species hadn't even theorized yet. The Artesian Collective requests clarification, a crystalline being chimed. How long has humanity possessed quantum manipulation technology? That's an interesting question, Sarah replied with a subtle smile. When did we first develop it? Or when did we perfect it? Because those are very different dates. The implication sent another wave of murmurs through the chamber. The Alliance's careful categorization of technological development stages, their entire understanding of how species progressed, was being challenged. We propose, the Nexus representative announced, immediate technological exchange protocols. Humanity clearly has advances that could benefit. No, Torres interrupted firmly. Earth isn't interested in technological exchanges at this time. The chamber erupted in protests. Sarah waited for them to subside before continuing. We've observed how the Alliance manages technological diffusion, how advanced species guide developing ones, creating dependencies. Earth prefers a different approach. Ambassador Telven's form pulsed with diplomatic concern. Surely you understand the importance of controlled technological development, the dangers of unrestricted advancement, like the danger of a species hiding their true capabilities until they're threatened. Sarah countered, or the danger of assuming technological superiority without proper verification. In the gallery, representatives from smaller species watched with growing interest. Earth's demonstration had shattered more than just the Dominion fleet. It had broken the Alliance's monopoly on advanced technology. The human delegation has prepared a series of proposals, Torres announced, activating a holographic display that immediately had every scientific advisor in the chamber leaning forward. Earth is willing to engage in collaborative projects under specific conditions. The conditions were a masterpiece of diplomatic maneuvering. Earth would share some of its advances, but only with species that agreed to new protocols for technological assessment and development. The underlying message was clear. The old system of technological hierarchy was over. This is unprecedented, the Artesian representative objected. The Alliance has maintained technological stability for millennia. And yet, Sarah interrupted, a supposedly primitive species developed quantum technology you couldn't even detect. Perhaps it's time to reconsider what stability really means. As the debate continued, Sarah's quantum sensors detected increasing activity throughout Alliance space. Species were already forming new alliances, reorganizing based on the new reality. Earth wasn't just offering technology. It was offering independence from the Alliance's careful control of advancement. We should discuss the Dominion fleet, Ambassador Telven attempted, trying to regain control of the conversation. Their violation of Earth's sovereignty has been addressed, Torres stated firmly. The surviving ships and crews have been returned to Dominion space, along with a very clear message about the consequences of future aggression. The message had been impossible to miss. The Dominion ships, their quantum drives modified by human technology, had appeared simultaneously in every major Dominion port. The demonstration of Earth's reach had sent shockwaves through militant species throughout the galaxy. As the session progressed, Sarah watched the shifting alliances with satisfaction. Earth's revelation wasn't just changing military calculations, it was transforming the entire galactic power structure. Species that had been guided by the Alliance for centuries were suddenly seeing an alternative. Earth proposes a new framework for galactic cooperation, Sarah announced, activating another holographic display. One based on mutual respect and genuine collaboration, not technological hierarchy. The proposal was revolutionary, a system where species would be evaluated not by their apparent level of advancement, but by their willingness to contribute to galactic stability. The quantum technology Earth had revealed was just the beginning. Humanity had more surprises ready to unveil at the right moments. In her private chambers that evening, Ambassador Telven reviewed the day's events with growing concern. The carefully maintained order of millennia was shifting, and at the center of it all was a species that had completely upended the Alliance's understanding of technological development. "They're going to change everything, aren't they?" her aide asked quietly. Telven watched Earth's delegation departing through her quantum-enhanced viewport. "They already have," she replied. "The question now is, what else are they hiding?" In their diplomatic vessel, Sarah and Torres reviewed the day's achievements. The quantum mesh had detected no fewer than 50 attempts to scan their ship's technology, each one revealing just how far ahead of the Alliance humanity really was. Phase 4 complete, Sarah noted with satisfaction. The galaxy is realigning exactly as we predicted. Torres nodded, watching the quantum display show the ripples of change spreading through Alliance space. They still think this was our big revelation, that we've shown them everything. Sarah smiled, thinking of the other advances humanity had yet to reveal. Let them think that. After all, the best advantages are the ones your opponents don't know you have. 1 year after humanity's quantum revelation, the galaxy was unrecognizable. The once monolithic alliance had transformed into a more fluid confederation, with Earth at the center of a new web of diplomatic and technological relationships. Sarah Chen stood at the window of the newly constructed Quantum Diplomatic Center in Geneva, watching representatives from dozens of species arrive for the first Galactic Cooperation Summit. Final security sweep complete, Marcus reported through their quantum link. The mesh is detecting 15 different attempts to analyze our technology. Mostly harmless curiosity, but 3 from suspected Dominion sympathizers. Sarah smiled slightly. Let them scan. Earth's revealed technology was revolutionary enough to keep them occupied for decades. What truly mattered remained hidden, waiting for the right moment. Admiral Torres joined her at the window, his formal uniform glinting with quantum-enhanced metals that doubled as advanced sensor arrays. The Artesian delegation just arrived. They're still trying to understand how our quantum fields can exist in multiple states simultaneously. Let them study it, Sarah replied. That particular technology is already obsolete by our standards. The summit chamber itself was a masterpiece of human engineering, its quantum architecture responding to the needs and biological requirements of each species present. Ambassador Telvin, now serving as the Alliance's chief representative to Earth, couldn't help but marvel at how quickly humans had progressed from appearing primitive to setting the standard for galactic technology. The session will begin shortly, Telvan announced, her crystalline form reflecting the chamber's adaptive lighting. Though I must admit, I'm curious about what new revelations Earth has prepared. Sarah took her place at the central podium, surveying the assembled representatives. The past year had seen dramatic changes. The Dominion, once a feared military power, had retreated to their core systems after repeated demonstrations of Earth's defensive capabilities. Smaller species, previously dependent on alliance protection, had formed new alliances under Earth's quantum shield. Distinguished representatives, Sarah began, we are here to discuss the future of galactic cooperation. But first, let us address the question I know many of you have. Why did humanity hide its true capabilities for so long? The chamber fell silent. Even the energy beings of the Nexus Confederation dimmed their luminance to listen. We observed, Sarah continued, how advanced species often impose their vision of progress on others. How technological advancement became a tool of control rather than cooperation. Earth chose a different path. We developed in secret, not to deceive, but to ensure we could enter the galactic community on our own terms. Torres activated a holographic display showing the new diplomatic framework Earth had implemented. Gone were the Alliance's rigid technological tiers. In their place, a system of mutual cooperation that had already produced remarkable results. In the past year, Torres reported, we've seen a 40% increase in independent technological development among former protectorate species. When freed from the assumption that they must follow a predetermined path of advancement, many species have discovered unique approaches to solving universal challenges. The Artesian representative chimed in agreement. Their species had recently developed crystal-based quantum computing that, while different from Earth's approach, opened entirely new avenues of research. The human model of hidden development may have seemed deceptive initially, but we cannot argue with the results. Sarah activated another display, this one showing the dramatic reduction in interstellar conflicts over the past year. The Quantum Defense Network, now extended to allied species, had made military aggression nearly impossible in protected spaces. The Dominion's failed invasion had served as a powerful deterrent. But perhaps most importantly, Sarah continued, we've demonstrated that technological advancement doesn't have to follow a single path. Earth's quantum technology emerged from our unique circumstances and challenges. Each species here has the potential for similar breakthroughs, if given the freedom to develop without preconceptions. Ambassador Telvin moved forward, her form pulsing with what humans had learned to recognize as thoughtful consideration. The Alliance Council has been resistant to some of these changes, but we cannot deny the benefits of this new approach. Change is never easy, Sarah acknowledged. But consider this. In 1 year of open cooperation, we've seen more genuine technological advancement than in the previous decade of guided development. The quantum mesh detected a spike in communication activity as representatives shared data supporting their statement. Species that had been locked into rigid development paths were now exploring new possibilities, combining their unique perspectives with Earth's quantum principles to create hybrid technologies no single species could have developed alone. And so, Sarah announced, Earth proposes the next phase of galactic cooperation. She activated the final display, revealing a project that made even the energy beings pulse with excitement. A joint quantum research initiative, open to all species, focused on solving the greatest challenges we face together. The proposal was revolutionary, not because of the technology involved, but because it treated every species as a potential source of innovation. The Alliance's careful technological hierarchy was being replaced by a network of collaboration and mutual discovery. As the summit continued, Torres received a quantum notification that made him smile. The Dominion's remaining hardliners just stood down, he whispered to Sarah. Apparently, watching their most advanced spy probes fail to even detect our secondary defense systems convinced them to accept the new reality. Sarah nodded, but her mind was already on the future. Humanity had revealed enough of their capabilities to reshape the galaxy's power structure, but they had maintained their most important advantage, the ability to develop in unexpected ways. In the summit's closing session, Sarah addressed the assembled representatives one final time. A year ago, many of you saw Earth as a primitive world barely worth noticing. Today, we stand together as equals, each bringing unique perspectives and capabilities to our shared challenges. But remember this, what we've shown you, what we've shared, is just the beginning. The true power of any species lies not in the technology they possess, but in their capacity to imagine and create what others believe impossible. As the delegates departed, their ships rising into a sky protected by humanity's quantum mesh, Ambassador Telvin approached Sarah with a question that had bothered her for months. Dr. Chen, be honest. Earth has more revelations waiting, doesn't it? More hidden capabilities. Sarah smiled, watching the ships disappear into quantum space. Ambassador, if there's one thing humanity has truly mastered, it's the art of patience. The galaxy is changing, and change always reveals new possibilities to those willing to look for them. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in chambers that even Earth's allies didn't know existed, computers that operated beyond conventional quantum limits continued their work. Humanity had revealed enough of their technology to reshape the galaxy, but they had kept their greatest achievements hidden, not out of fear or mistrust, but because they understood that true power lies not in what you show, but in what you keep in reserve. The age of secrets was over, but the age of wonders was just beginning.